This PowerPoint will review some basic vocabulary that will be encountered when you study cultural anthropology. The terms covered in this video are culture, ethnicity, race, acculturation, syncretism, caste, colonialism, cultural relativism, ethnocentrism, diffusion, egalitarian, ethnography, fieldwork, emic, etic, globalization, holism, particularism, universalism, worldview. Feel free to pause the presentation at any point if you want to take notes or review any terms. Our first term is culture. Notice the What is Culture chart on this slide that shows the many components that comprise a culture, everything from language to working schedules. Culture is learned human behavior patterns. Knowledge, belief, art, law, morals, customs, and any other capabilities and habits acquired by man as a member of society. Culture is a way of life of a group of people that are passed along by communication and imitation from one generation to the next. A related term is ethnicity. Ethnicity is a socially defined category of people who identify with each other based on common ancestral, social, cultural, or national experiences. Ethnicity is expressed in language, music, values, art, styles, literature, family life, religion, ritual, food, naming, public life, and material culture. The next term is race. Race refers to the concept of dividing people into populations or groups on the basis of various sets of physical characteristics, which usually result from genetic ancestry. They share biological or genetic traits. Be sure to click on the link to watch the video about race. This next term is related to our previous word culture. Acculturation is the process of change in artifacts, customs, and beliefs that result from the contact of two or more cultures. Notice the acculturation continuum, which illustrates bilingual, bicultural effects on a culture. Another aspect of combining cultures is described by the term syncretism, which is a process through which people combine aspects of two different and separate cultures, traditions, or belief systems from either original culture. These aspects are adopted and applied to the current culture. For example, the synthesis of indigenous and Roman Catholic beliefs in much of Mexico. Another important term in cultural anthropology is caste. Notice the illustration which identifies and describes the levels of the Indian caste system. A caste is a division of Indian society based upon differences of wealth, rank, or occupation. Social barriers sanctioned by custom, law, or religion. Restricted association with members of other castes, not just in India, but other countries have caste systems. The next term, colonialism, is the policy or practice of acquiring full or partial political control over another country, occupying it with settlers, and exploiting it economically. Cultural relativism is when individuals respect other cultures and treat them as good as one's own. It holds that good means what is socially approved by the majority in a given culture. Cultural relativism sees morality as a product of culture, and those who practice cultural relativism see themselves as tolerant and see other cultures not as wrong, but as different. The concept of cultural relativism was developed to overcome the bias generated due to ethnocentrism in cultural studies. Our next word, ethnocentrism, is judging other cultures by the standards of your own, which you believe to be superior. It's cultural or ethnic bias, the inability to understand cultures that are different from one's own. Our next term, diffusion, is the spread of a cultural pattern from one culture to another through migration, trade, war, or other contact. The exchange of ideas or products between cultures, cultural patterns such as ideas, style, religions, technologies, languages, etc. Egalitarian is a belief that everyone should be treated the same or equally, and all should have the same rights. Affirming, promoting, or characterized by belief in equal political, economic, social, and civil rights for all people. The next few words will focus on observation and research of a culture. Ethnography is the description of a culture, usually based on the method of participant observation. Ethnography provides a detailed, in-depth picture of everyday life and practice. Qualitative research process or method and product whose aim is cultural interpretation. Next, we have fieldwork. It describes research in all areas of anthropology, from social and cultural anthropology to medical or biological anthropology. Fieldwork can be done in a variety of settings, such as an urban or virtual environment, a small tribal community, a museum, library, cultural institution, business, or a primate conservation area. The next two terms, emic and etic, are two contrasting approaches to researching human beings. Emic is referred to as insider, inductive, or bottom-up. Accounts, descriptions, and analyses expressed in terms of categories that are meaningful and appropriate by the native members of the culture whose beliefs and behaviors are being studied. Researcher puts aside past theories and assumptions and has respect for local viewpoints and its potential to uncover unexpected findings. On the other hand, etic is a way of researching human beings that is referred to as outside, deductive, or top-down. It uses theories, hypotheses, perspectives, and concepts from outside of the setting being studied. It takes an existing theory or framework and conducts research to see if it applies to a new setting or population. It allows for comparison across contexts and populations. Our next term, globalization, is the process of international integration arising from the interchange of worldviews, products, ideas, and other aspects of culture. This next slide is holism, the view that human existence can be adequately understood only as a multifaceted whole. Human beliefs and actions must be seen in terms of their interrelatedness with all other aspects of culture, human biology, social interaction, and environmental influences. How religion, economy, and politics were interconnected. This slide includes two terms, particularism and universalism. Particularism searches for what is different, unique, or exceptional in order to create something that is incomparable or of special quality. Universalism searches for what is systematic and tries to impose the rules, laws, and norms on all of its members so that things can run more efficiently. And our final slide defines worldview. Worldview is the complex motivations, perceptions, and beliefs that we internalize and that strongly affect how we interact with other people and things in nature. A set of feelings and basic attitudes about the world rather than clearly formulated opinions about it. These attitudes were learned early in life and are not readily changed later. They have a determinate influence on our observable behavior, both verbal and nonverbal. This concludes Part 1 of the Cultural Anthropology Key Terms. Look over this list and see how much you can remember. Do you have a good understanding of these concepts? If not, you might want to go back and review any key terms you aren't able to define or explain.